no. It's here.
It's here.
The women's winter is here. The freeze is upon us.
Are you guys talking about the AC?
When spring turns to summer and there's blossom on the trees, the office air doth turn to ice and all the women freeze.
I don't know. I'm pretty comfortable.
I know you've thought about this. What is the perfect office temperature? No one thermostat setting will please everyone, but LA Times reporter Jessica Roy has details of a new USC study that shows which temperatures are the most productive. And it turns out the answer is different for men and women. Hi, Jessica.
Hi.
Can I just say this proves everything we've known all along?
Yes.
Right? Tell us about the study.
Sure. So at USC, what they did was they brought in men and women, students, and they had them perform on math, verbal, and cognitive tests at temperatures between 61 degrees to 91 degrees.
And what did they find?
They found that men performed better below 70 degrees and women performed better between 70 to 80 degrees, but that men's performance was less negatively impacted at warmer temperatures than women's performance was at those lower temperatures.
Which makes sense completely, because remember the bestseller, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Venus is actually the hottest planet in our solar system.
It turns out we prefer it that way.
We do. So in 2015, the journal Nature did a similar study. What did they find?
They found that most offices were set at a temperature based on the 1960s comfort model, which was when men made up the vast majority of the workforce. So that our office temperatures, even now, are set at a temperature that is more comfortable to men.
So I picture Peggy and Joan from Mad Men, you know, freezing to death,
right,
as Don Draper was perfectly comfortable in his office, right?
Yeah.
And there is a sexism note to it today. Even when people discuss it, there was a woman that in your piece who has an advice site, and she would be asked this question, what's the perfect office temperature? And tell us what she used to say and what she says now.
Sure. So I spoke to Allison Green, who runs the advice site Ask a Manager, which is great. I read it all the time. But she said that she would tell people to defer to colder. She would say, well, it's easier to put on a sweater than it is to, you know, cool down when you're hot. But she said, given both the results of the study and the fact that it's negatively impacting women, she was like, I'm going to have to rethink my advice on that.
You know, this is something that we joke about, but really and truly, I don't know any women who haven't at some point experienced this. It's in the zeitgeist. At least it's in the college humor zeitgeist.
Why is it so cold in here?
Cynthia, why are you wearing this garb? You knew that women's winter was coming.
I forgot.
Yeah, where it talks about how for women, the summer when women tend to dress more for what the outside temperature is, if you're wearing a sundress or a light top, suddenly you're even colder at work than you are when it's cold outside.
Does it happen at your office at the LA Times?
We keep it around 72 on my floor. I checked. And so I feel okay, but I think every woman at my office and in America has like an office sweater or like a cardigan or something stashed under her desk for when it gets cold.
Let your hair down. It won't do much, but at least the back of your neck will be warm. Where do you keep your office sweater?
She doesn't have an office sweater, you idiot! Luckily, I grabbed the communal office coat in mid-December during Men's Hell.
I didn't wear a shirt once in December. It's too hot in here.
What are other solutions that we could, besides, and I'm, by the way, I'm the same way. My second day at Spectrum, I got in my car at lunch and drove to TJ Maxx and bought 2 sweaters and a scarf to keep in my drawer. And they are used. The women in the office, you know, we take turns wearing them. It's so cold.
Yeah, you know, one of the things Allison Green told me was she was like, if you have an office with a strict dress code, try to be more understanding. If a woman is wearing a big, bulky cardigan or something, you know, it's because she's cold. It's not because she thinks it looks so super cute.
What else can we do?
In a lot of offices where it's safe, you can let people have space heaters or fans. You know, like there's no one temperature that's going to make every single person happy, and so letting people control the climate around them is a really important thing that managers can do. Another thing is to make sure that the seating is set up appropriately so that like the very coldest person isn't right under the roaring vent and your hottest person isn't like right next to your west-facing windows.
Still cold. Let's get her away from the air vents.
They're everywhere.
I know they're everywhere, but she needs to think that there's still hope. I'm going to see if I can find a thermostat.
Nay, the winter freeze is controlled by the general thermostat in the basement. We have no power.
Good advice. What about OSHA? Does it say anything about workplace ideal temps?
OSHA doesn't have a single guideline. Their range is super broad. I think it was like 68 to 76 degrees.
All right, well, I'm going to follow your lead. 72 sounds like a nice compromise the LA Times has made. Thanks a lot, Jessica.
Thank you.
So warm in here. The bathroom is a completely different ecosystem than the rest of the office. It's always at least 10 degrees closer to the outside temperature because the company refuses to pay to climate control the bathrooms.
Jessica's story can be found at latimes.com along with a link to the whole study.